Be sure to leave comments with your opinions on your favorite live-action Joker, or someone you think would crush the role in a future iteration. My Twitch, Twitter, and website links are in the description below. New In My Opinion videos are out every week. The opinions in this video are those strictly of West Side War and do not represent those of the comic book fans, movie fans, or their affiliates. This is a shorter video that goes over my feelings quickly and gets to the point on each Joker. Spoiler warning, movie plots may be spoiled during this video. You have been warned. The Joker is a villainous character loved by many, from his creation in comic books to the many different mediums of media he was portrayed across. Video games, graphic novels, cartoons. We will strictly be sticking to those who have portrayed him in live-action movies that were backed by DC. Cesar Romero played his Joker in a more comedic style, which for the time was exactly what television needed. The white paint having to cover his mustache was something I felt was a little absurd, though Romero refused to shave it off for the role. In the end though, many found it to become iconic to the goofy Joker he portrayed. It would be quite a few decades before the world saw another live-action Joker. Jack Nicholson. Oh, the memories. Nicholson took the mantle in Tim Burton's vision of the Caped Crusader. Jack Nicholson's version of the Joker will always be very nostalgic for me. It had the right elements and showed the world we were ready for a darker take on Batman's ultimate nemesis. While the role felt right for the time, looking back I see a Joker who was more Jack Nicholson playing the character than a defining character in itself. This is not a shot at Nicholson or Burton in any way, just an observation of how I feel many perceived it. Nevertheless, it did justice for the character on the big screen, making way for what would become a role to take very seriously.
Why so serious?
The late Heath Ledger raised the bar high for live-action Jokers in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. I mean, wow. This was a defining role to set the stage on how people perceived the clown prince of crime. The brilliance of the performance was part of the love. Also, we have to appreciate that for a guy who claimed to some that he had no plans and was just an agent of chaos, he was actually manipulating and springing forth plans all the time. This was a performance that was Oscar-worthy and winning. No matter how you personally feel about this version, it was well done, and gave us the most gripping tale between the Clown Prince of Crime and the Dark Knight that we may ever see on the big screen. Jared Leto. Now, okay, here comes the controversy.
What do we have here? You helped me by erasing my mind what faded memories I had.
Jared Leto's Joker was even a more true-to-life Joker than that of Joaquin Phoenix. Now before you mash the dislike button, hear me out. Could Leto's Joker have used some changes? Definitely. The damage tattoo on his forehead was over the top, yet the tattoo on his hand was pretty interesting. We only saw him for 10 minutes? Each scene felt disconnected and random. How much got left on the cutting room floor is still something that makes me a bit sad, as I believe there was a good story to this Joker. He was the first to include Harley Quinn in his life as well. The silver teeth, or the grill, were in place as Batman broke his original ones. If that story could have made it into the original Suicide Squad, plus make him the main antagonist, I think that would have fared much better, in my opinion. DC makes all these dark, brooding films, but when it came time to make one about the villains, you know, the psychotic ones, they went for laughs and a light tone in the last minute. We can't have the bad guys be darker than the heroes, apparently. Maybe the 5 to 10 minutes in the Snyder Cut will give Leto some redemption.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
Now, the DC standalone movie, simply titled Joker, is something I need to dissect just a little. I enjoyed this film tremendously. Phoenix brought his character to life, and Todd Phillips wrote and directed a great film. Though I felt this wasn't a movie about the Joker, Todd Phillips made it clear he wasn't taking his vision from any source material. But with that kind of take, it left the movie more about a man with a severe mental illness and a laughter he couldn't control. I guess it wouldn't have pulled as many people in to watch if it was called The Life of Arthur Fleck.
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world.
While we had some familiar ideas in place, from Arthur living in Gotham, visiting Arkham, Thomas Wayne being a prominent figure in the story, it was still just about a guy who partially went downhill from society and fully downhill from a dark mental illness. As someone who suffers from severe depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and social anxiety, I had my moments where I felt for Arthur, and then there were the other moments where we couldn't be further apart. In the end, I cheered him on nonetheless. That was part of the brilliance. You're cheering on a psychopath as you felt for him. Hats off to both Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips. Though 90% of the film was about Arthur, only near the end did we get to see him get his Joker on. Even in that, he only wanted to be called Joker, as that was the name Robert De Niro's character called him as an insult to his, well, embarrassing stand-up comedy attempt.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
There's talk of a second film, but is it needed? I mean, at all. This film did amazing with the time it had and wrapped up nicely. To wrap this analysis up, see what I did there? Joaquin Phoenix played an amazing role, but simply put, it wasn't the Joker. We all know it was Batman who helped create the Joker.
Mob dealers? No. No, you complete me.
As Arthur was apparently older, much older than Bruce, this just wasn't going to happen. In The Killing Joke, the Clown Prince talks about one bad day is all it takes. Yet Arthur was the subject of more than one bad day.
We went over this, Penny. You adopted him. We have all the paperwork right here.
That's not true. Thomas had that all made up. So it stayed our secret.
You also stood by when one of your boyfriends repeatedly abused your adopted son and battered you.
He's always been such a happy little boy.
I did not speak about the television version of Gotham's, unlicensed? Is that the word? Anyway, their attempt on Mr. J as a teen or young adult. Simply put, it has way too many issues for me to take a swing at. Robert Pattinson takes up the helm of Batman in Matt Reeves' trilogy. As of right now, there's no mention of the Joker, though I believe someone will don the green hair and pale face yet again before the end of those upcoming films. As always, be sure to send your ideas for topics for In My Opinion to ideas@wesatwar.com. If I use your idea, I'll be sure to give credit and a shout out. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you next week with a new episode.